I'll go out and come back in.
Yeah.
If I can.
Mm. Wouldn't it be funny if people we're already live and people could hear this?
It's a good thing we get really good views after the fact because the shit is terrible live.
Oh yeah. Although I've seen it, I mean, on live broadcasts, I see it a lot in a lot of the news shows that I watch.
Oh yeah, live TV is hard.
Yeah.
That's why most people don't do it.
Yeah, yeah. Like Philip DeFranco sounds completely different if he's live because, they don't do that thing where it automatically takes out the uhs and the whats and the and all the pauses between what he says. So
All right. We're going to try this again.
we're not supposed to put feet on the cameras anymore.
Quentin Tarantino's directing the show now.
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to the technical issue-ridden Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
I'm JD. I have returned, and I measure success with the metric system.
Oh my goodness. We actually have a comment that apparently we were, I guess, live. They could hear us on Facebook Live.
Well, shit.
I told you, didn't I? Wouldn't it be great if they could hear this?
I was going to think the same thing. I'm like, boy, it's too bad people can't hear the stuff we're going through before. I don't even know what the hell we were talking about.
Something about feet and Quentin Tarantino. So,
oh yeah, because I itching my toes. And we're canceled.
we were canceled a long time ago.
Fair.
How is everyone doing? JD, since you weren't here last week, how are you?
Had to cough first. The prodigal son has returned. I am back from my yearly jaunt to Fargo, North Dakota. Doing pretty good. Pretty good tournament. So, pretty happy.
Yeah?
Did
you win?
We won the girls division, the girls junior division. I'm not a girls coach, but our state did. We won the Greco 16U division, and we took third in the Greco junior division. And when they totaled up all the tournaments, Illinois edged Pennsylvania by 6 points for the overall title.
Hey!
So,
Oh, it's a crying shame.
yes. Yay. ILLINI.
Screw you.
Yeah, it was a good week. Drove home I caught up with my family at the Mall of America in Minneapolis. We went to, the aquarium and walked through Nickelodeon Studios. So I got to see them for a couple hours. And then I picked up the dog on the farm. And now it's just the two of us for a week. Because my wife says I always come home from Fargo sick. And she doesn't want to get sick. So I have the house to myself for a week.
Oh. Hence why you were on before we actually started.
Because I had nothing else to do.
Perfect. How about you,
Great.
Johnny boy?
Well, speaking of sick, I got my COVID booster on Saturday and spent yesterday flat on my back and most of today pretty much the same, feeling like I had the flu. But I had to get it because next weekend I'm going to Otakon in Washington, D.C. I'm finally doing something for myself. Even though I'm really, really trying not to pack my Superhero Speak t-shirt and my recorder.
I was going to say, why didn't you try to get press passes? Because come on, it gets you in the door. You don't really have to interview anyone, but it would have gotten you in the door for free.
I can't do that. If I'm going to get press passes, I'm going to do press, and I'm doing this for myself. We're going to do plenty of running around during the New York Comic Con, and it's been a while since I've actually taken a vacation just for myself. Not watching my nephews for my sister, or going to a con for superhero speak. So I'm good. If I go and I get an interview, I get an interview. But otherwise, I'm just there to enjoy it.
Holiday Road.
Pretty much, yes. Neither one of you can sing.
Road. Yeah, no shit. That's why I'm here.
I can still hit those notes at least. But
cool. Well,
so otherwise, that and overdosing on One Piece. We'll talk about that later.
I thought you were going to say meth.
That too. I've got my my little bottle here.
Oh my god!
What do you think keeps my ADD in check? I mean,
meth. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy Otakon.
I was going to say crack.
Yeah. No.
You do deserve some time to relax.
Yeah. So otherwise, oh god, only dads.
Drew says you're home alone, showing your feet on the internet. Only dads, dude. If I could make extra money doing that on the side, the problem is real talk right now. I have ridiculous toenail fungus from years of wearing grody ass wrestling shoes and like being in like locker room showers and stuff like that. Like it's gross. My wife says I have to sleep with my socks on.
They have a cream for that.
They do not have creams for that. They have special treatment for it. It's expensive, exhausting, and I don't have the attention span to go through it.
I have a dream, guys. I have a wish. I have a dream that we can get through an episode without talking about feet. That's all I'm saying.
We never talk about feet. I've been on this show for 6 years. This is the first time you guys have heard about my gross ass toes.
Socks. We talked about socks. The no-show socks 2 weeks ago.
Well, we did talk about that 2 weeks ago. That's true.
We can stick to the metric system. That's fine. No problem.
I made a metric system joke earlier. John tied it back. Bravo, sir. Dave, how was your week?
It was good. You wanna feel your age? Babysit your twin 5-year-old and 3-year-old granddaughters. My daughter went to a concert yesterday with her husband to see Cake.
Did they go the distance?
Oh,
it's a Cake song.
This is
I know.
What is it? Long
joke
episode.
She's going the distance. She's going for speed. She's all alone.
Okay. I know. What's the one long coat?
Yeah, she's got a long coat and a long jacket. I forget how that one goes.
Yeah, like that's the one I know I've heard before. So
it's a good song.
So yeah, like
ska band.
I'm just tired today. Plus, the night before, I was at my girlfriend's, and with two of her sons, we were sitting around drinking copious amounts of alcohol
to prep yourself for the weekend with your granddaughters. Am I right?
A little bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Mentally preparing for being tortured. No, actually, I was shocked. They were really good. They were quiet most of the time. We watched Wreck-It Ralph and Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph Wrecks the Internet, which I hadn't seen before.
How was that?
And it's cute.
Fine.
It's fine. It's same basic story as the first one, just this time it takes place on the internet as opposed to in the arcade. So yeah. But yeah, no, it was fun.
I liked Wreck-It Ralph more than Ready Player One. It's like the same movie, basically.
Well, I mean, but in Ready Player One, the player doesn't screw something up that then he has to fix. Whereas Wreck-It Ralph brings the alien into
still like the same exact story.
Or the bug, the Psybug. Yeah. I think the best part of that is that the Fix-It Felix and the commander end up together getting married. Like, that's just like a weird thing out of left field. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. And they're still married in the sequel. Ha! They didn't go for the obvious drama.
Finally.
Those Hollywood marriages, man, you got to root for them. You want them to last. It's like Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick.
Yes,
We
exactly.
have very wholesome Instagram content, by the by.
So yeah, that was my week. Did not watch the latest episode of what you call it,
See,
Secret
even
Invasion.
even you falling off the wagon.
It seems like, based on that article you said, not many people have been.
Yeah, so we can talk about that real quick before we get into social media madness. Yeah, it's apparently its ratings are doing so low they're going to actually put it on Hulu along with Disney Plus to try to get more people to watch it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I've been telling you guys, people are a little burnt out on what Marvel has been doing.
Well, also, they took probably like one of the most iconic storylines, and they lowballed it. Like
I think-
does not. It's
I'm gonna-
it
I'm
doesn't
gonna say
seem
that-
the way it should be. I mean, I could see them doing it the way they did it if they had gone bigger, but it just like.
All right.
And I hear this a lot. It feels small. You know.
I'm going to write this down in a very real way. I agree with John. Write the date down because that doesn't happen. But
Holy mother of Pete! Really?
um,
That's one for me. I got one.
but there is a consensus. I've talked to people like it's boring. It's not good, and they really did not need to drag this out to like 8 episodes or whatever it's going to end up being.
Everybody was expecting Fury to have been like faking his injury and faking all that stuff, and like in the 3rd or 4th episode for him to just start showing that he was already playing everybody behind the scenes. No, like it's just
and there's no
and the reveals were horrible, and
the reveals
just
are
lame.
horrible. There's no like real mystery that he's trying to figure out or anything like that. Like there were so many ways to make this interesting that they didn't do.
We need to have the tough talk that the Secret Invasion has never been good. The Secret Invasion comic of the late 2000s was not a great miniseries.
Well, it didn't. It didn't end well either. I mean,
didn't end well. Like it was a lot of promise, a lot of like buck, but not a lot of bang. We were let off with this big like, oh, Elektra's a Skrull. Who's a Skrull? Who's a Skrull? Spider-Woman was a Skrull for like 3 weeks. For like 3 weeks, though. It didn't like go back. It didn't like change anything, and then wound up being a big anti-religious fundamentalist story, which I don't think anybody really wanted, because that was the big hook. Because he is coming. He is coming. He loves you. That's what it is. He loves you. He loves you. And they finally go, who's he? And they go, God. And you're like, really? That's it? Like, So I mean, like, it kind of lives up to the tradition that Secret Invasion is just kind of
Right, but like that's the whole thing is. It doesn't live up to the tradition of them taking storylines from the comics and making them a little bit better.
That's
in
true.
the MCU. And I really feel like they could have done so much with this. They could have made it a mystery where he doesn't know what's going on. And like once he thinks he has somebody he can trust, they turn around and they betray him because they're a Skrull or a Skrull synthesizer or something like that. They could have set it up like that, but it's just like, nah, it's just.
Okay. Real question. Is this better or worse than V? It was a deep cut. V. Remember V? The alien.
Oh yeah,
V.
Oh no, V was better.
V is
was better.
V's a classic. The first.
Yeah.
The second
V was better.
kind of
I remember V. Both. There were two.
There were two.
2 seasons.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 miniseries. There's the one in '83 and the one in '84. The one in '84. It's okay. They had the V baby, and it's kind of losing.
Yeah, it gets kind of weird at the end, but it was still.
So, but this is it's like similar, right? Because it's an alien invasion storyline.
Oh, but
I
it
feel
was
like
done so much better with V.
That's what I say. If you fall underneath the parameters of V, you probably shouldn't have done what you did, right? Because it's been 40 years since V came. Literally 40 years since V came out, and
Wow.
that we're all old. And so I think that like that should have been the template that this show had followed. And again, I'm not writing either. I'm not watching because I'm bored with everything, but it doesn't seem like I'm missing much because nobody likes this show.
Kassan's making a good point here. It feels like it is an ad in a way for the Marvels. Like they're setting up stuff that's going to affect that movie, and it does feel like they hired an ad agency to write the episodes.
See,
I
but
can't
that's the
dis-
mistake they've been making since the end of Endgame, where everything has to be an ad for the next thing, and they're not like
Yeah,
just dealing with the story at hand.
I think
Right.
Yeah.
that okay, so we have to have another tough conversation that there's a downside to continuity, right? And this is like now film fans are starting to feel what comic fans have been feeling since the 1990s is
Yeah.
that this is an event, right? The MCU is playing out like event comics where nothing matters, everything just leads to something else, nothing can be a self-contained thing. Everything has to be building toward the next thing. And this is why I can't read modern day comics because like I feel like we've made the same for the last almost 15 years or so. We're making mistakes over and over, and we're getting back to what made comics kind of shitty in the 90s.
But
Right?
they
Everything
did-
is a big summer event now.
right. But the first
Yeah.
was it 3 phases, like up to Endgame, they did it okay. I mean,
Yeah, the first 3
that
decades
worked.
of the Marvel Universe were great too in the comics. And then look
Right.
what happened.
Right. Well, but we all thought that, since they had done the first decade right, and they had hindsight as to what happened with the comics, especially in the 90s when it just crashed because nobody wanted to collect 15 different comics just to see one storyline.
That's not true.
you would-
or else they'd stop doing it. They haven't stopped doing it because people do, because they take advantage of completists. Most comic fans are obsessive compulsive and have to buy everything, right?
But-
or else they wouldn't do these things. But I
But-
mean, a sane person goes, I don't want this, right?
Yeah, but it's funny. Like a lot of younger people I know that are into comics, they just wait for the trades to come out.
That's been a thing for a long time, which is the way
Yeah.
one probably should wait. That's probably the best way too, because comics are not periodical art anymore. They're really written more for these self-contained trades. And again, that's not a new thing. That's been done for the last damn near 20 years now. Kassan also says continuity works if your creators have the vision to see it and plan it through to the end. When your vision is only a segment of a story, Thanos, everything falls off. I can't necessarily blame the creators on here because again, I'm going to relate this back to comics. We reached the Bob Harris era of Marvel. Let's look at it like that. That was a stage where everyone, and DC recently had this too, the New 52 era, where the editors are the ones telling the writers what to write. And I think we're in the same kind of a place too with Kevin Feige, where they have this thing. This is what we're going to do. It's not like people are saying, "Hey, I have this pitch for, X."
Right,
Literally X-Men.
but then
And
but you can say that Feige had this vision to get to Thanos, but
Mhm.
had no idea what really was going to happen next.
well, because I don't think any writer really does. Right, you're like a creation is something that like evolves as you're doing it. Right, you can have an idea for this 12 book, 12 issue, 12 whatever saga, but it's going to evolve and change as it grows. Right, and that's kind of how creativity works a little bit. I think the problem is like we talked about this before last time I was on the show. Is like Disney. I cannot remember the name of Michael Eisner came back to Disney. Was it Michael Eisner? Is that who's run Disney again? I forget who's running Disney again.
Iger.
Bob Iger. That's what
Bob
Michael
Iger,
Eisner.
Yeah.
Michael Eisner's way another era. Bob Iger came back and said, "Yeah, we're doing too much Disney and Star Wars." Well, all right. Well, who asked for
Marvel
all
and
that?
Star Wars, yeah.
That's what I said. Marvel and Star Wars. Well, all right. Who asked for all that? You guys did, right? They're serving the master, and I think we've seen from this. If this summer has taught us anything, it's that people are tired of the old franchises.
Yeah, look what happened with Oppenheimer and Barbie. They
That's
are killing it right now.
They are killing it right now. Like it became a
Barbenheimer?
meme. Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer, yeah.
Barbenheimer. It's Barbie made 150 million this weekend, and Oppenheimer made 80. That's a great weekend. Isn't it 150?
Especially
80 was domestically. I think it made.
I was counting the domestic numbers.
Like it made its budget back. I don't think it made enough to cover advertising, but
it will.
But it will.
very soon.
Yeah.
for an R-rated biopic that traditionally don't steam up the box office, right? It just caught on. Like it became like a viral marketing thing with the two movies working together as opposed to in opposition to each other, right? I think audiences wanted to see something different, and it's Barbie. But what I think everyone said, what is a Barbie movie?
What do you get when you cross Barbie with Oppenheimer? Barbarella.
There's many a night on USA Up All Night where I found myself watching that Jane Fonda 1968 classic.
It's funny. Like I can't remember. Oh, when I got to my daughters yesterday to babysit, and she was finishing up, getting ready to leave, and like, she's like, "Oh, what's Karen doing today?" I was like, "Oh, she said something about maybe going to the movie with her one son. He wanted to go see Barbie," and she's like, "We saw it already. Like the girls wanted to go, so we, Corey took the day off of work and we went on." So yeah, like that's the thing. There's an appeal there to girls. Like there's a huge audience for this movie. The young girls and girls who grew up with Barbies.
But again, Disney should have, like, we're talking about like the comics continuing on this treadmill of storylines tying one into the other and all that, but movies are different. Like the people at Disney should have known that they can't do the same thing that they're doing with the comics with the movies, because nobody's going to want to say, "Oh, I want to see this movie. I only have to watch 130 hours of other movies before I see this movie, so I can understand."
Right, exactly.
Why not just have them self-contained?
No one's going to build a Barbie universe. There's not going to be.
Right. It's okay to tie them together, but not make it like intrinsically part of the story that you
You
can't
want a Barbie
see
universe, don't you, JD?
I'm not saying I haven't seen it yet. I don't want one, but I mean, don't put it past him.
There's already a Barbie multiverse. How many different Barbies did they sell? I mean,
I don't know.
You'll have that crossover into the American Girl universe. Like,
I'm just saying, don't shut the idea of them trying to make a sequel or something like that to this.
Yeah.
All I'm saying,
I'm not saying they're not going to make a sequel, but I don't know if they'll make a universe.
I don't know. Like I said, all I've been saying for years is the audiences want something different, because they've been given this, they've been fed the same thing for years and years and years. And like, I think they're rejecting, because again, it's not that these movies are getting panned at the box office, it's that people aren't going to see them. Like even Fast, the people love those Fast and the god awful Fast and Furious movies. And they finally said, maybe I'm done.
Finally, took long enough.
But I mean,
just like the Transformers movie.
Just like a Transformer. I mean, nothing has, like, other than Guardians and Mario Brothers, which kind of came out in the spring, nothing has like grabbed audiences until this thing, right? This is going to be 2023 is going to be the summer of Barbie. It is.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. The social media madness.
Do we have to?
We have
to. So first off, last week we had James on the show, and James Burton, creator of Damage Inc. And of course, we always end our interviews by asking people, how do you measure success? You make a joke every time the intro plays, JD. So I liked his answer, so I clipped it, and that was one of the clips this week that I put out.
Whoa.
What?
Oh, we just got a comment that surprised me a little bit.
Oh, that's
my brother. My brother randomly dropped in. John's name tag made my day. Hey, Matt, my brother just moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, the new home of the what was the baseball team on the Simpsons?
Oh, the Isotopes. That's their minor league ball team. Is the Albuquerque Isotopes now?
Do they call it the Isotopes because it's so hot there? It is actually creating fusion in the air.
No, they called it because of the Simpsons. But we went to a ball game and it got rained out. We went to a ball game in the desert that got rained out. Think about it.
Kassan says Fast Series pulls $1 billion each movie. That actually proves people don't tire of things that catch
this one didn't.
Interest.
Barbie's already made more money right now than the last Fast movie did in its entire run. So it might have done. It did fine, but it didn't. It ain't.
It
didn't
pull $1 billion.
It didn't make Barbie money.
So we got two people who commented on the clip on YouTube. The first one being James saying he loved the clip. The other one being I can't read that name. It's not readable. But he said, and this sounds like a JD answer, by counting how many enemies you have crushed, how many enemies you were driven before you, and the amount of laminations of their women.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of wondered if it was you just using like a fake username. Not you? Oh, okay.
I was busy last week.
You posted a lot of pictures. Of course, we talked.
I am a millennial. It's what we do.
We talked about Deadpool and some casting rumors, and of course, the yellow costume. And so I asked people if they were excited about the Wolverine, and Wolver Steve, who's
Nice.
a Wolverine cosplayer and apparently has met Hugh Jackman and everything, actually replied and said, "Generally think I'm one of the most excited people on the planet. I'm sure there's millions of us too. But here's me, Wolverine, Deadpool 3, and the real Hugh Jackman in yellow." He shared a clip. I don't blame the guy, like, yes, promote your TikTok. That's fine. But yeah, shout out to you, Wolvie Steve. Keep doing your thing. Also, let's see what else we got here. Deadpool casting. What is this? Come on. Oh yeah, some more on the same thing. Don said, This was an exciting image, but I can't help but be pessimistic and say that this is going to be some short-lived multiverse Wolverine."
It's possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they're going to recast him. I mean, the only reason he's there is so that Deadpool can help him kill the Marvel Universe, or the Fox Universe, excuse me. The Fox Marvel Universe?
Yeah, this is definitely going to be Deadpool kills the Fox Universe.
See, everybody will go to see that movie because they are killing off a part of the multiverse that nobody liked. We'll pay to see people die. I mean,
I, for one, have grown tired of the multiverse, sir. I'm sick of hearing about it every time I turn on my television set.
Yeah, because everything's a multiverse now too.
Everything is a multiverse.
Random Randy Savage tagged Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and said, "You want to comment or fight the host? Whatever's easier."
we should mention, like, the writers' strike and the actor strike is still going, so Deadpool and Superman going to take a while to come back.
We
all they got to do, all the studios got to do is sit down and work on the contract and not be money grubbing dick faces.
I was gonna say, because we talked about it last week, and even Gorilla Brain said it stopped production, so there's no reason to be excited. They didn't stop because they're not going to make it.
You want to hear how bad things are?
How bad are things? Sorry,
the Amazon drivers are going on strike. Not UPS. That's a completely separate strike. The Amazon drivers are going on strike, and you know what Amazon offered them to placate them and get them not to strike? 2 16-ounce bottles of water for free every day. They have to do some of them have to do 400 stops a day in order to break even.
Here's the deal.
Okay, this is the problem with our the things that I've heard that they're doing to these. Did you see Ron Perlman's short?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's ready to go.
Biger's ass.
Yeah, and there will be a lot of people that'd be willing to hold him down.
Here's the thing: we're going to have these multiple levels of strikes because of this the massive inequality what these companies do compared to the people who actually work for them. Because these companies are not loyal to the people who work for them; they're loyal to their shareholders. And until there's a complete paradigm shift in how this is done, this is what has to happen, right? People have to fight back against these kind of things.
Yeah.
And welcome to Socialism Hero Speaks. I am JD. And I'm very happy about all these strikes right now.
Well, hey, Dave's got the perfect example. His workplace literally blew up, and he had to fight to get anything out of it.
That's true.
And I got nothing. And that's the way the world works. All right.
The lawyers got stuff, but you didn't.
Not if you're famous, or not if you have connections to famous people. Then shit gets done.
We're going to have a really good talk later on. And of course, we also talked about the rumor Ben Affleck was spotted on the set, to which Randy said, "Say what you will about Ben Affleck, but this guy works. The Flash, Air, and now Deadpool kills the Fox universe. J-Lo must be eating him out of house and home the way he's working so hard." Wait.
Glad he finished that sentence. He was in the Flash, Ben Affleck? He was Batman at the beginning of the Flash.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
Duh.
We have 3 different Batmen.
Yes, that is right. Kassan said, "Much of the speculation is that the movie will be we'll reset using Deadpool versus Marvel storyline. Yeah, it's the nice way to get the old Marvel actors on screen and kill them off. I'm watching it no matter what. Van City Reynolds has earned my trust. And JAS, who's at Jasmina, said, I think it's a lie. Affleck quit acting a long time ago.
Ooh. He was pretty good with Batman, though. I mean,
I'm going to say, wait a minute. He's been in 3 different movies this year, or a couple different movies this year. He was just in Air. What do you mean he quit acting?
Yeah, Ben Affleck's reached the phase of his career when he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Yeah.
You know,
he'll be doing a Dr. Dolittle movie soon.
I think if somebody doesn't see what people are in, they automatically think they're not working.
Right.
You know,
because sometimes that's what happens. That's part of that's another reason we're talking about this strike is because when these guys don't work, they live on their residuals.
Right.
That's bad. Residuals are bad. Actors are bad people trying to make money.
They used to be able to live on they used to be able to live on residuals, though.
Mm-hmm. What's the problem is these streaming giants spent billions of dollars to create these giant streaming platforms that aren't making any money, and they can't pay anybody. Yeah, I'm with you, JD. Odd place to take a breath. I think that's what Dave was reading the thing. I can't remember the joke I made. Kassan said that was a snarky remark. She wanted to say he doesn't act well anymore. Well, that's debatable. Subjective. Did he ever act well? I don't know. Randy says Ben Affleck is banging J-Lo. He is a god among men. Much like Grover Cleveland, on two non-consecutive occasions.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, that's possibly my deepest cut.
You got to remember we're talking to
worst possible joke, because no one will get it, especially anyone under the age of 30.
Even then, we're talking to an American audience. They're not taught history here.
I'm an educator, sir. It's my living. I think it's a good joke. I'm going to stand by it. Thank you.
Made me laugh.
Thank you, sir.
But I also love history, so.
Those who not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. George Satyana.
We talked about the Superman casting with David Cornsweet and Rachel
Brosnahan.
Wow. Randy said, I'm more interested in what the story is going to be.
Me too.
The handsome hobo from Pearl will do a fine as Superman. My guess is Guns is going to do Superman's greatest for, and then it's a Mixoplick GIF. So I'm not really sure what he's getting at.
I don't know what Gunn's going to do, but he always tends to have some weird deep cuts that always seem to work. And apparently, thank you, Randy. It was a good joke. It's going to be interesting because it seems like the Justice Society is. And by the way, I was not on the show last week. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. Come on.
It's going to be perfect. Yeah.
Come on. That's low-hanging fruit,
yeah,
but I'm happy.
But my thing is, why aren't we getting a solo Superman movie? Why are we getting
we don't know how long
a team.
Okay, hang tight. We don't know how long these people are going to be in this movie.
I mean, if James Gunn's going to do a James Gunn, he's going to kill somebody off.
Not
maybe
necessarily.
Guy Gardner.
Nobody died in the Guardian. How many people died in the Guardians movies? Not a lot. Randy's greatest foe. The greatest foe is the fifth dimension being. You think so? You think Mr. Mixie-Spitlick is his greatest dimensional? Is his greatest foe? Luthor's his greatest foe.
Yeah. Mixie-Spitlick. He's used to.
You don't think Brainiac
tricking him into saying his name backwards? And
Brainiac is Brainiac is untapped potential for a movie because it's never been done. Right?
It's been done in the animations.
Very, very
well.
I actually agree with that. Yeah. I think that Bruce Timm's version of Brainiac, that was the AI. Oh boy, could you say a lot now about this? Brainiac being the AI that ran Krypton would be so perfect in this world. Golly, it writes itself. Yeah, actually, just did what Bruce Timm did 30 years ago. So, either way.
Yeah, I mean, but AI could literally write itself.
But not well. But not well.
Nope.
Yeah, but how many Hollywood movies are written well?
When you have 7 drafts of every script, how can anything be written well? When you just zap the voice out of everything.
Yep.
Drew
the
says
box office.
Superman's greatest foe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. Man of Steel made a lot of money. It wasn't great, but it made
the
money.
most. I think it made the most of all the DCEU movies.
It might. I don't know. I gotta look. I don't feel like looking that up right now.
It's either that or Batman.
Yes,
v Superman.
Master.
Batman v Superman made a lot of money too, but everybody collectively, it made a lot of money that first weekend, and everybody went, "Wow, this sucks."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Really?
Aquaman made the most. 1.1 billion.
Oh my God.
Just short
Really?
of 1.2 billion. Yes. Batman v Superman was next. Probably only because of opening weekend, and then Wonder Woman after that, and then Suicide Squad, and then Man of Steel.
Wow. I am shocked.
There's a lot of bad movies on that list.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
that
it
is
only gets
all.
worse after that.
That is all the social media for this week. So we're gonna take. I mean, if you want to know how you can be part of, wow, I'm off. You want to know how you can be part of social media? Follow us on social media. Be part of social media madness for next week. Here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
How's the show going? You join it? Do you want to be part of social media madness? And go ahead and head over to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social links, episodes of the show. You can find comic reviews by Chris and other articles. We're posting stuff on there all the time. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Great shows like the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, So Wizard, and Superhero Speak. Hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. So make sure that you are engaging with the Superhero Speak Twitter post whenever they come up. Give us your best comment, and you may make JD say this.
I get so tired of these dumb motherfuckers.
All right, it's back to the show.
I swear I'm sober, but your brother said that you broke the Dave pot.
It was me.
Dave, do you need any of my my Ritalin? I mean, you know. It's
Yes, yeah. and I will say that while we're here, if you're watching right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you can not miss us when I go live. Leave a comment, leave a like, please. We love you guys, like us. We need validation in our life.
Does Dave smell burnt toast? Are you tasting copper, sir?
No.
Do you mind if I insert something into the news first? If we're going to go ahead with that now?
That is the most politest way to pick someone up I've ever heard in my life. Pardon me. Do you mind if I insert this?
Well, first we got to take a commercial break, and then we'll do the news. We'll be right back.
Some podcasts are like this.
On top, missionary, pull the leg over, so that way it's like they're on their side a bit. So that way it's like you're hitting it from the back, but you're still getting face action.
Yeah.
That way you still reach a hand up
Twister
there.
shit.
Yeah, but you still get deep because you get and face
and neck.
It's a power position.
What would you call that? Like a wine opener?
The bop it, you can smack it, you can choke it, you can pull it, you can do everything.
And some podcasts are like this.
It's hard. I'm one day off vaping right now, bro. And I want to fucking smoke a bowl out of my own nuts, bro, of pure nicotine.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
Ooh, we let that slide. That was woo.
He's a
Sweet
bad
and
guy.
sour
It's
chicken
fine.
ass nigga.
He's a bad guy.
Ooh,
let's just walk over this one.
Because he was a villain, we let that slide. That was. Oof. I forgot about that. My bad. Just because you naming food, nigga, don't make it better, dog. Like it's still racist as shit,
There's so much racism.
bro. Also, I know ain't no black people wrote this, so I know this is just.
This is just them.
Tripping and
We can say
racism.
whatever one through his mouth. Come on, think of all the racist things you want to say to those Asian people.
Get it off your
Say
chest. It'll be spoken in jive, so it wouldn't hurt so much.
His sweet jive mouth. You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
He's sending us a new one right now. Says
Good,
Randy.
because there is so much untapped potential in the internet for their commercials. I mean,
so wait. First off, I noticed something. The first guy who's talking about the sexual position in the beginning with the brown hat on, he's actually, I didn't know this. He's a stand-up comedian, and I have seen clips of him floating around on the internet, and he's actually kind of funny, but he's also kind of dirty. So
get out of here. That guy's dirty. Shocked.
They're a dime a dozen.
So, but yeah, there's a clip of him doing his acting, like he's hitting on him. This woman like gives him something, from the audience, and then he's like hitting on her for the rest of the show. It was kind of, you're looking at that, but it's funny. Not older, like in her 80s, like older than him, but not,
Gave him chlamydia.
Actually, you want to see a really funny instance of a comedian getting hit on by a much older woman, Steve Hostetler. He's really funny. He's quite big, and he does a lot of stuff on YouTube, and he's constantly touring. And there was one clip of him getting hit on by like an 80-year-old woman, which was hysterical. He's done a lot of funny stuff.
And real quick, also, while we're talking about subscribing in the show, don't forget we've got our new interview series that is going on up every Friday on the channel right now. The first one is up. It's Mickey Clausen. The next one is going up this Friday. Will be Nicole Kane. She is a creator from Australia that we interviewed for the website before, but has never been on the show. So we were able to do it on Friday when it was her morning, our evening, and I was able to work it out and do an interview with her. So check that out. So. All right. So, John, you wanted to insert something into the show?
Pardon me, sir.
Please.
Would you like please belong your...
No. Yeah, no. Okay.
May I explore your greater caverns and orifices with my individual digits?
And to think that this is going to be a PSA. No,
pretty shitty announcement.
So, if anybody listening to us now or in the future, yeah. There is a company that is putting out a WandaVision steelbook.
That's right. I was going to include this. I forgot. Go ahead.
Right, with no DVDs in it, no Blu-rays, no discs at all.
This is so stupid. I know the people that this appeals to, and it pisses me off even more.
It would appeal to me.
My brother is one of these idiots.
Yeah, it would appeal to me, except I want the discs. The whole reason you want to buy it for this. But the thing is that this is done by a company called Manta Lab, and apparently there is some question as to whether they actually have the rights to do this. But the steelbooks are on sale. They're out there.
They're going to be hearing from someone's lawyer. Oh.
Yeah, I know shit. You're gonna get the crap beaten out of you by a mouse. So just in case somebody sees that, because I would be somebody that would see that and go, hell yes, because I like collecting Blu-rays and DVDs and the 4Ks, because I like being able to watch it when I want to watch it and not have to, worry about the streaming service taking it offline, which is now happening.
True.
So, but this steelbook for WandaVision is not real. You just watch out. If you see something from Manta Lab, don't buy it.
But it's funny because it's one of those things where, let's say it is real. Let's say they went to Disney and said, "Can we have permission to put a steelbook out?" And it's like, they probably said, "Well, we're not planning to release this on any kind of home media." And they went, "That's okay. People will just buy the steelbook." And they went, "Okay." Because if Disney's making a percentage off of it and they know people are just going to buy it, why not?
Right. But this is how shameless they are. The steelbook will be a limited edition, There you go, right there. That's a psychological trick to get people to buy it.
Uh-huh.
Consisting of 1,250 units to be sold. Again, there's a question about whether they have the rights to do this. There will be a variant one-click collection, another psychological trick, that comes in a box with the sword logo, which is limited to 800 units. So they're using all these psychological tricks to say, you want this right now, get it before it's gone. You'll never be able to see this again. Meanwhile, it says steel box, which most people like me who still want to get the physical media are like, oh, I love steel boxes. They're always awesome. And there's nothing in it, probably because that would be an instant kill by the Mouse's lawyers. But, anyway, so yeah, again, anything from this company called Manta Lab, do not get it.
Are you, again, I don't know enough, but are you they didn't license this? They license stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I know, but this has made the rounds for a lot of places, and from what I've seen, there were a couple of news outlets that just really recent, like this has been in the wind now for a couple of days, and just recently a couple of news outlets which have started to do the research on it are saying, hey, we can't get Marvel to tell us that they have the rights to do this. So until that is solved, I mean, you would think that nobody would take that chance with Disney money behind it, right? But you never know. These get rich quick people.
It might be a situation where they did approve it, but then realize it looks stupid, so they're like, "No, let's just not say anything. Let's not."
Well, then there's a lot of like 4K and Blu-ray discs that are being buried right next to those ET cartridges in the desert.
I don't know. I don't know who I trust anymore. Definitely not you two.
Fair.
Thanks.
Fair.
All right, there was a little convention this weekend, guys. Did you hear about it?
No,
San Diego Comic-Con.
I was in beautiful North Dakota, enjoying the sights.
I heard all the bigwigs pulled out of it, so I'm not interested. I mean, who wants comics without having to pay $400 for a signature?
Apparently, lots and lots of people.
Okay, before we get into any of the news that came out, everyone that I know that went said this was one of the best years ever because all the attendees weren't camped out in front of Hall H waiting for the next panel. They were actually on the floor looking at comics and talking to artists and everything. So like they said it was like for them it was like the best year in a long time. They made sales and they were able to talk to people and had fun. So yeah.
Wow.
JD might have been right. Might have been right.
Sorry.
JD, you're pixelating, man.
Sorry. What?
Yeah, your connection seems slow. But you were right when you said that they'll go back to being about comics and get better.
Are we good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
Rural. About as good as it can be, I guess.
Stop downloading the porn.
Time to start closing off.
More. Stream it.
Yeah.
Toys, new Ultra Magnus can be blown apart.
In the movie, that's awesome.
Oh, that reminds me. There is a new. You guys have seen the Optimus Prime auto transforming toy?
Yeah.
They have a Grimlock one now.
That was introduced at the con as well.
Grimlock,
$1,500.
Yeah. Grimlock.
Nice.
You really are pixelating there. You
really are slow.
Down.
I'm getting out. I'll come back in.
Okay.
Don't tell him he's slow, Dave. That's not. Don't get personal.
I know it's not politically correct.
Robosen.
Yeah, Robosen is the company that has the transforming. They have a Bumblebee, but the Bumblebee doesn't transform.
I think this is the same company. They might have actually changed their name, but this is the same company that was floating these things around like 5 years ago. And they have what is it? They have like 2 other robots that they were working on too. Jazz, I think, was one.
That would make sense if they've got the rights. They should do it because.
Well, I think originally they didn't have the rights to do it, and they were just floating them around. And like I remember showing a link to my nephews like 5 years ago, and I guess they finally you know, they went up to Hasbro and say, hey, look what we can do. People will pay for this. And so they do, you know.
Well, I mean, I know my co-hosts are going to pull their money and get me the Grimlock for Christmas. So, I mean, it's great.
I'm sorry, my internet's sketchy. I can't hear you.
I think I'm going out too. I think we're going out too.
John, you're right, says Drew.
You're supposed to tell him not to encourage me.
He's listened to the show long enough. He should know that on his own.
This is true. All right, let's get to some news. One Piece trailer dropped.
All right, I have 3 pages of notes here.
Okay, before you get to your 300 pages of notes, what did you guys think? Did you JD, what are you doing? Are you trying to say you didn't watch it?
I didn't know what I was watching. Oh, I was gonna let John just go on and go make a pizza.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you guys think because it's.
I thought it looked fun.
Interesting to hear what
about
outsiders.
I know nothing about One Piece. I thought it looked fun. It's something different, and I definitely would watch this.
I didn't have an emotional impact one way or another about it. All I could think about is how is this thing so long? That's it. That's all. Like it didn't.
Yeah, it was a long trailer, wasn't it?
Can you hear me? Am I okay?
Yeah. I don't know if you're okay, but we can definitely hear you.
Okay, because I'm now paranoid now. If I don't get an immediate reaction, I'm thinking something's. See, like I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah,
I highly doubt that the Netflix one is going to be as long as the actual cartoon, right? Like
no, well,
not with a strike.
So yeah, true. So they count like most anime is counted as arcs, an arc being a story arc. So like this handles the first.
Thanks for explaining that to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, but this one is supposed to do like the first arc was the East Blue Saga, the main arc, East Blue Saga. And there's a couple arcs inside that covers like 44 episodes or 27 chapters of the manga. This is still only like 1/12 of the entire series, maybe a 15th of the entire series.
I mean, I figured it's going to be a very small piece of the whole overarching thing. Yeah.
So and they are changing some of the storyline in order to take some of the cruft out. And that cruft, yes, it's a computer term. But the thing is that Oda, the guy who wrote it, is and this is what I don't understand. Somehow Oda got the last right of refusal for all decisions. So he doesn't want to. You don't want to gatekeep. You're being inclusive. I am. You are right. Besides, me, I'm a fan. I want to see. I'm hyped about this, but I'm interested to see what it is from the eyes of somebody who's not into the fandom, that sort of thing. So so the thing is, like, we heard. I don't know if you've heard that Netflix is also going to be doing Last Airbender, a live action Last Airbender. And the 2 writers from that left the production because they didn't like the direction it was going. Okay. But somehow Oda made sure that in his contract, it says you can't do anything and nothing gets put to film and nothing gets put in the final product unless I okay it. And from what I've heard, he has asked for some things to be reshot. And other things he wasn't so sure about until they shot it and he saw it and the actors made it work. And he's like, okay, that's good. So it appears to be that he's working very closely with Netflix. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is that this is Netflix. And no matter how good something's doing, Netflix will cancel it for no reason.
Okay. So
to make room for something else. But they're spending $18 million an episode for a total of $144 million for 8 episodes.
Oh wow!
So,
Classy says, not One not a One Piece guy, but Pirates of the Caribbean is one of the best pieces of any media.
True. I mean, it's really, I mean, it's really close, with the exception
But
of the gum powder.
I'm gonna say I know people that aren't anime people, but like One Piece, which is weird. San says, did you hear Netflix canned the He-Man live action movie after dropping $30 million on it?
Did I saw about 2 years ago? I saw a big super. I think it was a Supervoid Cinema thing about all the failed Masters of the Universe movies since the Dolph Lundgren one.
A lot.
This tons.
There's a graveyard.
It really is, and it's another brick in the wall, basically. I'm kind of bummed.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
but I mean, it's funny because John
I
just
know.
said that, as long as Netflix doesn't cancel this,
this will be big. But the thing is, again, you have to understand that movies made movie adaptions made for like video games, live action adaptions for anime there's a graveyard for that too. Devilman, Full Metal Alchemist was horrible. The worst was the Dragon Ball Evolution movie, which is the gold standard for that's the room of anime adaptions. And the thing is though that with this trailer, it looks like at least that they've got all the right actors and the right tone, and they've done about as best as they can with the budget they've got, with mostly practical effects, which I think is going to make the difference between this and a lot of the other live action adaptions where it's just like Full Metal Alchemist. It was just all green screen all the time, and it looked horrible. So, I think this is gonna be. Now we've seen a good one. We've seen a good one before, a good trailer before for Cowboy Bebop. And then we found that they changed just enough of the characters and the story arc and everything to take it away from what it was supposed to be. But again, the writer of this, Oda, he's in charge of it, where he has the last say and everything. So this might be, and this will net Netflix a lot of money. If it does well.
Well, that's funny because now I'm thinking about, not to go off on a tangent, not to bring up the strike again, but
true.
How can you not?
Yeah, I know the strike is going to affect everything we talk about for the next couple of months at least.
But
year.
That's one of the things where it's like, one of the things they're talking about is residuals, and one of the issues is that residuals are based on the profit of something after it makes money, and the problem is with the streaming stuff, we don't know how does a show on streaming make money, because there's no advertising on it, they're not selling it on media afterwards, so you have to come up with a formula based on how many people are subscribed, watch it, and then try to figure out I think
that's how
on
residuals.
Streaming,
that's how it's done with writing decades. Figure it out. If there's enough to pay Dave off what he's making, there's enough to start figuring out residuals. Fuck the rich.
Oh yeah, that's the reason why Netflix doesn't release anything or any of these other streamers. They don't
Really
want
be
to pay
liable.
Yeah.
Unable to pay the people who actually worked on this stuff.
Yeah. By the way, the Netflix trailer, the One Piece trailer has 6.4 million views right now. And to put that against something else, the Marvel's official trailer has 13 million views. And the One Piece trailer was put out 2 days ago, and the Marvel's 3 days ago. So this is probably one of the biggest projects Netflix has worked on, really,
yeah,
considering the fan base.
I think it's going to be one of those things that's going to have to the problem is with broadcast TV, they came up with rules around it. There's the Nielsen ratings, and based on the Nielsen ratings, advertisers pay so much to a show to advertise on it, and they don't have anything like that. There's no regulation on this right now. Like, that's the whole thing, is someone's going to have to come in and regulate this in some way and figure out what makes sense.
These things came because it was time to pay people, right? Right, needs to be a way, because right now, like, let's look at some of the other things that they're requesting for background actors to get scanned days worth of work and be used in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Because you're one step away from doing it. You're one step away from doing that to actors. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to trust me on how gross my feet look. You're gonna have to believe me on this one.
I don't think that's what Drew's talking about.
Like, I'm sorry, I cannot. I'm just making a joke, but I'm not going to carry water for billionaires.
No,
and no one's carrying water for billionaires.
That's
but
exactly what people are. It's exactly what people are. These companies just.
What I'm saying is, it's a completely different model. It's a completely different model. It's why they are trying to force it.
There is money at the top. There's money at the. There's money to trickle down. Dave, I'll use the terminology.
Yeah,
there's money to trickle. Someone who actually, does the work on these things. Not the people who sit in a boardroom and make bad decisions all day for things that people don't want to see. Fuck them.
I'm not disagreeing with the idea that people at the top make too much money. What I'm saying is, how do you track this? There's no, like, they can make up whatever they want. There's no regulation on it.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
That's the problem. Then they don't get anything until they figure it out. Right? That's the point of a strike.
But the other problem is that
do you bet? What do you bet that that's not one of the things that's on the table for the strike? Like, that's not one of the things that they're talking about for the next contract, that they have to release those numbers so that people that can get paid, It's not his router. Somebody's watching movies in his house, streaming a movie or something.
He's the only one there.
Oh,
it's the ghost.
It's your dog. Yeah. It's your dog, man. Have you checked?
Astro's watching movies.
He's right here. Oops.
Oh.
There. He's hanging out with me.
Yeah.
I actually had the YouTube. I had the YouTube open. I think that might have been slowing me down. My bad.
Oh, YouTube always slows you down.
Yeah, I was streaming the show.
I've also noticed if I've got a couple tabs at YouTube open and then I close those tabs, it doesn't release the memory. Because are you using Chrome or
Chrome? We're on
Chrome sucks.
Well, we're on StreamYard. You have to use Chrome.
Oh,
I use Firefox, but
do you really? I thought it would. I thought you had to use Chrome. All right.
Anyway, yeah, I know I won't try to harp on this anymore, but like this is going to be interesting. It comes out August 31st, and I think this. I mean, we're gonna have to watch. I'm gonna be watching it. Maybe I'll tape it.
I'll watch it too. But here's the thing. What I'm saying, Kassan, I'm sure there are people who are getting those numbers. The problem is, how do you translate that to dollars? Because it's based on they're not paying extra to watch something. It's based on a subscription fee. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Someone has to come up with a formula that's fair to work this out. Like, you can't just sit there and say, a million people watched it, but what does that mean? Because a million people might have watched something else and watched something else. Then by the time you get down to for this month, then each show earned a penny.
Right, but the thing is, they know what the streaming numbers are. They know which show. We know,
but a number of viewers doesn't equal dollars anymore. That's what I'm saying.
But they're going
to have in the old model.
Yes, but they're going to have to make it count. Sorry, JD.
We need to figure out what that means now, because television has dropped tens of millions of subscribers this month. ESPN is talking about creating their own a la carte service. Right?
God.
Well, probably. Okay, that's the thing. They need to redo things because the market is moving in this direction. And we can't expect the guilds to hold to these old SAG WGA syndicated television standards.
Right.
Because there is no syndication anymore. It's streaming.
That's what I'm saying. This is the new thing. And when syndication became a thing, the guilds created a system, right? And it was based on advertisers. We're not getting advertisers when we're getting subscribers. Now it has to be based on subscribers. And some of these, a lot of advertisers. There are advertisers on Peacock. There are advertisers on Hulu. There are advertisers in a lot of these. And to quite frank, here's the dirty secret no one wants to talk about. Guess what? Here's every streaming service is going to be ad-based. They are. It's going
to be what?
Ad-based. Is my router still?
Yeah. You're still.
Gentlemen, it's been fun. Good night.
What?
Hopefully he'll restart.
But on the service, okay. But the time on the service, this is from Randy. She can't people sign up for the show, then they leave after the show ends or sucks. Yes, I also agree that would be part of the formula. If people leave because of an issue, because they don't like the show, then yes, that counts in some way against the money. But again, it's different because in the old model, the more people that watch the show, the more they can charge for advertising, the more money they can make. In the new model, it's a flat rate, so you just have to figure it out. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's move on. I'm going to message him in a minute, but let's move on. Oh, shoot. I just dropped my mouse. I'm having one of them days. The other trailer that came out was the Marvels, new trailer for the Marvels. And this did not make me want to see the movie any more than any of the previous stuff I've seen.
I don't know. I think this is going to be, it seems like a lot more fun trailer than some of these. This looks like a fun movie that should be interesting, you know? I don't know. We messaged him.
I like Drew says, what's the difference between leaving because the show ended or rage quitting?
Okay, you know what? Let's put other stuff aside for a second. I can understand where JD's coming from because he worked in that stuff. He worked on that side of things, right?
Yeah.
And we are, I mean, this, like you said, we're going to be talking about this for at least a year after. Right. I was just going on and saying, what you were saying, JD, is that we're going to be talking about this for a year because, we've come to a head where none of these companies are treating people like people anymore.
I feel he got upset with us, and that's why you really quit.
I wasn't upset with you guys. I was upset with people going, I can't hear what you're saying. And then it makes me want to throw my computer!
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
Drew wants to know what's between leaving the show and
rage quitting.
Or rage quitting. Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. All right, so we're back. We're on the Marvels trailer now, JD. Did you watch the new trailer?
I saw it in the theater. Right? In the same trailer?
Oh. Yeah, the trailer was in the theater.
No, the new trailer. This one more concentrates on Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Oh, which movie are they showing with that trailer now?
I swear to God, whatever I saw last week at the theater, I swear to God, this trailer played.
Okay. Neat. The last thing I saw in the theater, it was still the old trailer. Did it make you want to see the movie more or less or the same?
I want to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see it because I like Miss Marvel. I like that character. I like the actress playing her. I think she's fun. She brings energy, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the MCU Captain Marvel.
Again, man, I mean, what is this? Is this another Spider-Gwen thing? Or I don't know, because I don't mind it so much. I know that the writing wasn't too good for her in the original movie. But I think she's got range, and I think they could pull it out with this movie.
I'm interested.
I mean, that's the thing. Again, Brie Larson, that's her name, right?
Yes.
She's a great actress. I just don't like what they're doing to her in the MCU. That the character. That's all. It's nothing against her.
Her performance in the first movie was a little wooden.
Yeah, it was, but we know she can have personality because of literally 10 seconds of a clip during Endgame. Like we know that she can be charming.
Why hasn't that been seen in her own outing? Is that direction is basically going to be her getting another crack, right? And I think people are going to be really hard on her if it's not good.
True.
Yes. And I also kind of feel like, and again, no offense to Brie Larson, I think it's why they're making it a team movie because of some of the criticism from the first one, and they're hoping this makes it more fun for people. Because like if the Marvel movies aren't fun, people don't want to see them, you know. And I think bringing in Kamala Khan and Impulse
And Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau, but I'm trying to think of what
Teyonah Parris and Iman Vellani.
What version of
the two actors?
Photon, that's the name I was looking for. Yeah, that's probably what they're going to call her in the movie. Yeah, like I think they feel like that'll round it out and make it more fun. So
is it just me again? Not the Marvel guy, but they all had all those names were used by the same character at one point, right?
Yeah, they're all Miss Marvel. They were Marvel. Point.
Yeah, they were all Miss Marvel at one point. So
I think
neat.
Two of them. Did you know Monica Rambeau was Marvel? Carol Danvers was Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers was all Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is just Miss Marvel. That was more confusing than I thought.
Yeah. See.
And then there's been quite a few Captain Marvels. So there was a male one too. So Marvel. All right, so
that was the original Marvel Captain Marvel, because the original Captain Marvel is now known as Shazam. It's the most confusing property in the world.
No kidding. But I'll go see it.
We're all going to see it anyway.
We're all going to see it. I don't have a choice.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like it. Damn it.
All right, moving on. The other trailer that I thought JD would be excited about was Tiny Toons Looniversity.
I did like that one.
Which, watching it, it's basically just, I guess, what's going to be the opening intro for the cartoon. And I'm like, so wait, it's the premise of the original show, but now they're in college instead of grade school or high school.
Kind of, yeah.
So
even though
older.
Are they? I mean, it was always Acme Looniversity was where they went to school, but they just kind of went home every day. So, I mean, I don't know. It looks pretty much the same, except they're going to live in a dorm now.
Yes. Yeah. I think they aged them up a little so they could do some dirty cartoon stuff. So
possibly.
Which then I knew John was in.
No, they're just doing that to appeal to furries. That's all.
That's why I thought you would be in.
Babs and Buster are now brother and sister. So now that's Babs and Buster Bunny, some relation.
Wait, what?
Oh, what?
Yeah, Babs and Buster are brother and sister now.
Well, that makes the past really confusing.
That's a different, as we said, multiverse. This is a different universe.
Oh, by the goddess.
No.
Okay.
No. They cannot multiverse my Looney Tunes.
Tiny Toons.
Well,
and they already have, sir.
So I wonder if this is going to appeal. Yeah. I wonder, is this going to, I know it'll appeal to people like us that remember Looney Tunes and Animaniacs and all that good stuff. And we still like highbrow comedy, which I hope this still has, But I wonder if this is going to pull in any of the newbies. Any of the current generation.
Think about it like this. Who is it meant to appeal to? People my age and our children.
Yeah, and the fact that they're putting it on on Cartoon Network, they are looking for a bigger audience for this.
Kids are going to watch it.
If this was going to be on Max, I'd be like, this is aimed directly at us. But if they're going to put it on Cartoon Network, they're trying to appeal to everyone.
Well, hopefully we still have jokes like Fingerprints, because
that's an Animaniacs. And that was not a multiverse. That was the same. That was a continuation.
I know, but it's neat to go back in the old Looney Tunes, even the ones made in the 50s and 60s, and see jokes that went right over your head the first time you saw it when you were
30s
young,
and 40s. Layla?
30s and 40s, yeah, sure.
Lola. Layla was the guitar song.
No, they already relegated the original Lola to a different universe and pulled in.
People they made her unsexy in the new Space Jam, and people like lost their minds because they couldn't masturbate to a cartoon rabbit anymore.
No, they've still got Officer Hops from what is it?
Zootopia.
Zootopia, yes.
People are weird, man. People are weird.
I mean, it didn't stop me. Oh wait, too much.
No,
what I mean.
All right, moving
Next,
on.
Moving on. All right. Okay. Now we're into comic book news, guys. Like, this is weird. IDW has announced they're going to do a sequel to The Last Ronin. I did not read the whole article. I don't know who's writing it. Who's writing it?
I don't know who wrote it, but it's IDW. Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz. Basically the creative team behind the Ninja Turtles relaunch at the IDW. The guys, they've been there for like 10 plus years. Yeah. Since IDW picked up the license, whenever that was. And The Last Ronin was basically this the other turtles are dead and Michelangelo is the last one, and he's kind of older. Right. And apparently now they have an idea where 4 new turtles will take their spot, and Michelangelo becomes like Splinter.
Do you have possible vibes of like Dark Knight Returns too?
The Last Ronin did have a lot of Dark Knight Returns vibes to it. Like that was the point of it, was to like.
Right. So like, do you make a sequel and then end up kind of hurting the original material because?
No, because I don't think The Last Ronin's held in that kind of regard, and Frank Miller was already starting to become Frank Miller at that point, you know. And I don't think that. Controversial statement. I think the Dark Knight Returns is very overrated as far as Batman stories go. I do. I'm sorry. I think there's better Batman.
Your mic.
Yeah. Probably for the best. The way things are going tonight, it's probably for the best. I think it's kind of overrated. I do. I made one of Dave's toys fall.
There's a lot of social commentary in it.
There's tons of social commentary in it, but
political commentary too.
It's about as
that
subtle
works
as
in the 80s and doesn't really work today.
It's about as subtle as a tack hammer to the side of your face.
True.
It's Frank Miller. Like Frank Miller is very, again, my favorite Batman writer is Grant Morrison. So I mean, the Frank Miller stuff's a little bit on the nose for me. But again, that's just me. As far as this goes, it seems like there's an audience for The Last Ronin. It's mainly guys who grew up with the Turtles that kind of want to see him grow up. So I don't know. Sure. I never read The Last Ronin. This actually made me want to go pick up the trade, and I'm going to pick it up tonight, actually, after we're off the show.
Oh, well, there you go.
It says that their sensei is Casey Jones, though, or Casey Marie
Jones. That would be the daughter of April O'Neil and Casey Jones.
And Casey Jones, yeah.
Drew says, I don't disagree with that. Like Watchmen, but gets a bit wordy. Yeah, I mean, that was the era, right? That was like the superstar writer era, so everything got really, really wordy on the page.
Yeah.
Plus, he says, I love Batman Year One and Dark Knight Returns, but yeah, it's overrated.
I think Year One's better. I think it's probably because of Mazzucchelli's art. You know, I don't think anybody... Frank Miller's art is just, it's an acquired taste, I think. Like, and it kind of got sloppier as he got older. Whereas Mazzucchelli's a genius as far as art goes.
I think, though, in my opinion, the art works for the story he's telling.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, he's beaten down Batman, a broken world, yeah. Boo, Grant Morrison Batman. Yay, Grant Morrison X-Men, says Drew.
So we don't like Batman, you know, triumphing over evil, but we love Magneto becoming Hitler. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. I don't know. I'll check it out. I like The Last Ronin, so I'll check it out.
Did you read The Last Ronin? All of it?
I don't know if I read all of it. It's been a while. So
I had a
couple. Yeah, you know what?
Is there a movie coming out this week?
No.
All
right. We'll do The Last Ronin on the show. Yeah, it's a contained story. It'd be easy to do.
Yeah, it's one trade.
Right.
Kassan says, I never read The Dark Knight Returns, but I watched the animated movie and liked it. Are they the same? Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, that's one of the animated movies that's like very close to the original material.
They stripped down a lot. They stripped down some stuff. I think they kind of...
Yeah, they take away the voiceover, and it takes away a lot from the story.
It changes it. It actually, I think it makes it a little bit more digestible. Because Frank Miller is so... like I said,
Wordy.
subtle, wordy, and like not. If you've seen Sin City, you know what I'm talking about. You know?
Oh my god.
It's you know what I'm talking about, like Frank Miller.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. First, I went into the room, and then I looked at the phone. It rang 3 times. Then I picked up the phone and spoke into it. Quotations. Hello. Like that's Frank Miller as a writer. I hated his Batman and Robin run, Morrison. It gave us Mr. Toad. Come on, man. And the League of Batman. That was great. The Black Glove, phenomenal story. Damian Wayne, he changed Batman forever.
That
Frank
is true.
Morrison,
He gave us
pretentious
Damian Wayne.
is because I ask if Frank Miller is pretentious. One could make that argument. I don't know if he's pretentious so much as he's like anti-pretentious.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
overly against pretension, I would say. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just wordy for, I don't know, just he is. It's like,
but not like Alan Moore was wordy. Like I could see people calling Alan Moore pretentious, right?
Oh, yeah.
But Moore wrote way different than that. But he wrote a lot of words, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Superior Spider-Man is returning to the Marvel comics, guys. For those who don't remember, Superior Spider-Man was the storyline where Doc Ock is in Peter Parker's body and is Spider-Man for a while, and some argue is a better Spider-Man than Peter.
Well, if he goes around punching people, then definitely.
Well, no, okay, because so Doc Ock, I read this whole run. I like the Dan Slott run of Spider-Man. At first, he got the job done. He was able to be a scientist. He was able to do the things that Parker wasn't able to do. And then because of the Parker luck, because it invaded him too, he made everything worse because his answers were totalitarian answers. Right? He was almost like Batman as Spider-Man. Right?
Yeah,
But I mean, it was almost like it's like that Mr. Burns episode of The Simpsons is you're evil. And even when you're trying to be good, you're still being evil. That was pretty much
right. With the net.
Yeah.
The Omni net.
The Burns Omni net.
Yes.
The little Lisa Slurry. Spoonful
Little
of slurry.
Lisa Slurry. Yep.
But that was pretty much the Spectacular Spider-Man run. Or the Superior Spider-Man run. Like Ock tries to be a good guy. Ock is incapable of being a good guy. I don't know if it's a good move to bring him back, especially as this character, because it was so good for what it was in the moment. So I'm super skeptical on this to begin with, mainly because I feel like there's just too many Spider-Men out right now.
Yeah. And multiverse.
Yeah. Well, this is a multiverse. They're all here. We have a Spider-Man. We have a Spider-Girl. We have Spider-Gwen. We have Miles Morales.
We have 100 different Spider-Mans.
Spider-Boy. There's just
Spider-Ham.
just too much. Well, Spider-Ham is fine. He's acceptable. But I mean, and I don't mind. So I don't mind Miles Morales. And I've decided I finally come to terms. Miles Morales gives you the opportunity to tell those old Peter Parker stories in a new light because he's a teenager. Right.
Yeah.
So you could tell those classic Spider-Man stories. Whereas Peter Parker gives you the chance to have the Spider-Man who grew up and as an adult.
Right.
Right. And I think there's an
get rid of
advantage.
Spider-Gwen altogether.
People love Spider-Gwen, man. I'm sorry. People love Spider-Gwen. She's
They're
Spider-Man. We've always
wrong.
said it. She's the most successful.
She's cool.
Female Spider-Man character, like female Spider-Man spinoff. She's more successful than Spider-Woman was. She's more successful than Mayday was. I'm sorry. Spider-Gwen works. The masses have spoken.
Give me my Spider-Woman.
They made her pregnant.
That was not Jessica Drew.
Or just Drew.
Sorry. It was a completely different version.
You have a scroll on your desk, sir.
She was and she was perpetually pregnant, so I didn't get that aspect of the character either.
She's Spider. She's got lots of kids in there.
Is that it?
I don't know. I made it up.
Choice.
I made it up.
Let's see. Marvel, give me reprints of Spider-Man Noir trade paperbacks. It's too damn expensive.
I'm really surprised that they wouldn't put out a new version, considering how popular.
Nobody bought it the first time.
Right, but
nobody liked it. Yeah, but nobody liked it. Like nobody liked any of those noir stories. Like it was something Marvel tried, and it met the market with a collective fart. It would be forgotten about if not for Nicolas Cage in Across the Spider-Verse.
True.
Unfortunately. All right. Well, it's funny too because there is another. I didn't bring this article in. There's another crossover event coming up for Marvel called Gang War. Yeah, Marvel had a lot of news that came out of San Diego. Also, that there is going to be a new zombie Ghost Rider.
Okay. Why?
There's a lot going on there.
Why?
Well, first we had, what was it? It was Punisher with the power of Cosmic and Ghost Rider mixed into one for a while. It was Cosmic Ghost Rider. But it was actually Frank Castle.
You don't need Cosmic Ghost Rider is like one of the most powerful entities there is in the Marvel universe. I mean, like
which one?
Yeah, right. Because there's Universal Ghost Rider, right? Like or Galactic Ghost Rider,
Cosmic
or whatever.
Cosmic
Ghost Rider, right? He doesn't even need power Cosmic. He already has a Cosmic.
We got Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider,
True.
Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. I mean, like I get so tired of Marvel. Where like they introduce new versions and they just keep the other one around. They're as bad as DC. They used to give DC crap about this. Now they're worse. They're worse. Yeah. We have 15 Spider-Men and 9 Ghost Riders. Yeah. 6 Hulks.
Yeah.
12 Thors. 9 Captain Americas.
2 Punishers.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
That was the other one I forgot. Pear tree.
That was the
Gwen
other.
Stacy in a pear tree.
That was the other article I didn't include. We got a new Punisher, and it's like a new character, a new backstory. Like they teased it before San Diego, and then they made this announcement. But it was like, who? It's not like they said, okay, now Scorpion is now going to be Punisher, or I'm trying to think of another. J. Jonah Jameson becomes Punisher, or anything like that. It was just that it was just this new character, and it's like, why are we supposed to be excited about this? Like, just put the book out and we'll decide if it's good or not. Like,
what the hell's a zombie Ghost Rider anyway? Ghost Rider is a ghost. I mean,
it's dumb.
What makes him a zombie?
Okay, it's Donny Cates. Donny Cates has weird Gonzo stories, and people seem to love Donny Cates. It's just a Hulk. It's just a Hulk villain. It's whatever. The new Punisher is something different because Marvel. This kind of takes me back to the 90s when Marvel would do this. They would take old properties and just completely reboot them with new characters. Ghost Rider, for example, Dan Ketch, right? Like this is something that they would just do. Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, right? So I mean, Thor Thunderstrike, was Eric Masters as Thor. Right. Yeah, I mean this is kind of old school Marvel. Here's my thought: didn't work then. Not sure if it's going to work now.
Speaking of things that were only popular in the 90s, Rob Liefeld. No.
Is that a segue, John?
It's a good segue.
He is returning.
Taking my shots where I can get them.
Well, yeah. It's funny because like I do follow him on social media, and he put this post on the other day before San Diego started. Like, kind of excited to work for one of my old companies again on a project I'm not allowed to talk about. And it's like everyone knew it was Marvel when he said it, but he wouldn't say anything more.
I'm just trying to get the hype machine moving a little bit. I mean, I'll be honest, I have no interest, but there's a lot of people that have fond memories of X-Force for reasons.
Yes. And then what are these 2 books? Like, it's funny. I skipped an article about Rob Liefeld. I'll go back to that. I just realized Time to Kill 2024. Like that's year it's coming out. And First Contact obviously looks like an X book. Time to Kill, I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Like
the John Grisham book. They made a movie of it with Samuel L. Jackson and Matthew McConaughey.
Nice.
But I don't know who that is that a new character? Or
I have no idea.
Somebody in a weird costume? Like
he's got Nicks on his helmet, right?
I have no idea. We got to wait. It's going to be Rob Liefeld, so it's not going to come out on time, and it's probably going to be a little. It's probably going to be a little much.
And no feet.
Is there okay? Are there feet in the picture?
There are.
Yeah,
feet,
there is.
They look weirdly proportioned.
Good for Rob. He's gotten better at drawing over the years, or someone's drawing his feet for him.
The other.
Wow, we are vicious.
He is you. Oh my God, feet again.
It's an X character.
I've got
Okay,
no
to be
skin
fair,
to
in the
say
X-Men and the what is this one? First Contact one, nary a foot is present.
Yes.
To be fair, this X character is the most Rob Liefeld thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
He's got a big ass helmet on with an X and a shield gun. That is enormous.
And how does
doesn't
that
have enough
arm
pouches
fit
on
that
the
body?
outfit,
Look at the weird body.
There's not enough pouches on the body.
There's no pouches, actually. Okay, no, there's one. There's one pouch. It's on his calf, which would be the most inopportune place to grab something that one might need in a pinch. Your calf.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Rob Liefeld. I mean, I'm sure it'll sell some copies, but whatever.
Well, you know what? Let's pre-apologize to Rob Liefeld.
Why? He don't care.
Because San Diego had to apologize to him.
They forgot to tell him he had a panel.
Yes, apparently he had a panel that he didn't show up for because apparently they forgot to invite him to a panel, which I find weird. So I wanted
super weird.
I wanted to talk about this a little bit too because like whenever we sign up to do a convention, we usually always get an email saying, if you guys want to do a panel, let us know and we'll work something out with you. Right? So I assume before they schedule anything, they email people they want to do panels with. Like, how did it get that far without officially inviting them? That's the weird thing here.
Somebody got fired.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure because
somebody dropped the ball.
A lot of people got angry that like they showed up at this panel and he wasn't there. Like it was scheduled and everything, and no one stopped and said, like, there was no one. This is so weird. There was no one who, like, a coordinator for the convention who went to his table and said, don't forget to come to this panel at this time or we'll send someone over to get you. Like, I've worked a lot of conventions. That's normally how it works. Like, they send someone to your table. So I'm assuming they sent someone to his table and he wasn't there or whatever. Maybe he was getting lunch.
Yeah, that's
or
what
something.
it says. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you also normally, like, the people I've worked for at conventions will, like, in the morning, there's like, if I was doing scheduling stuff, they'd be like, oh, can you just go to these tables and remind the artist they've got a panel at X time, you know?
It says when he was asked to do any panels this year, he declined and said that he wanted to take a break. So,
well, there you go. So, but they didn't.
But so somebody like didn't pass that along or something.
Yeah, somebody got fired. Definitely. Weird. So weird.
See, this is what happens when you take the autographs and the actors out of the Comic-Con.
They forget to tell people they have a panel? Weird.
They immediately forget their logistics. I mean, like, you know?
And then
we've got the crack team there for the logistics.
And guess what, guys? Speaking of people returning to Marvel, Greg Capullo is returning to do a bunch of Wolverine covers.
That's pretty
Wolverine
cool,
and
actually.
Deadpool covers. Yeah, he is an amazing artist.
Yeah.
He's not just good at marketing himself.
He
So
is.
yeah, that's cool.
His Batman is awesome. And he's probably the best Spawn artist. Like, I know people say Todd McFarlane, but I actually think Greg Capullo is a better storytelling artist than Todd McFarlane kind of ever was. So this is good for Marvel. Get a superstar artist back doing some stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you want a good visual storyteller, Capullo's your guy. I think if you want something that looks unique and has a lot of detail, McFarlane's your guy. So, I don't know. I always thought his style just different, you know. So
Good
yeah,
old Toddy
that
McSpider.
is cool. I will definitely be looking for those books when they come out. But on that note, we have one last article to talk about, which I feel like might become a bigger discussion again, as usual. So take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more news.
I'll blow this town to smithereens! Time bombs! Try to get up there in time, Spider-Man!
Watch me cut my web, Goblin!
Watch yourself fall, Silk Slinger!
Gotta stop the bombs in time!
If I don't get you, webhead, my diagnoses will!
Holy Hannah!
And you're running out of fluid!
Is this more action than even Spider-Man could handle?
Spider-Man, a video game from Parker Brothers, the ones to beat.
Still the best live action Green Goblin costume ever. All right, guys. So it happened. Somebody went to San Diego Comic-Con trying to sell AI art at their table, and San Diego Comic-Con asked them to leave.
What an idiot. Why would they that? Everybody's looking for it.
So this has been all over social media, big time. I tweeted out a link that was on social media where I originally saw it. Asked people to comment on it. The Nerd Rage podcast says that doesn't seem right. Lillian Sue said, I think if that's the path you're taking with your art, you should be transparent and honest about it and let the reception be what it will be. No disclosing this, especially considering what writers and actors are fighting for, seems sleazy. Trevor, the Beard Wizard Man, said, good decision to kick him out, that is. Ryan McLaughlin said, it's so funny right now with AI and everything everyone trying to stop it. It's here. It's never going away. It will continue on, and there's no one to stop it. The singularity is here. Download my brain into a computer.
He's not wrong, unfortunately.
The Geek World All-Stars said AI, artificial intelligence, and it's a really bad special effects clip. So Wizard has a bear kicking someone out through a glass door. Random Randy Savage said, pretty sure if I started to sell Alex Ross art with my signature on the top of his, I'd be kicked out without much sympathy. AI should be used more like a starting point rather than a shortcut. And Kassan said, it's perplexing. Anyone would call themselves a creative and sell AI generated content. This seller is wrong and doubly wrong if he didn't disclose the art was AI generated.
Yeah.
AI scalps human generated content and reprocesses it based on user input, not creativity.
No creativity. Yeah. But here's the problem. Money. There's nothing there's nothing that's going to stop this because there are not enough people in the world that have any kind of moral compass whatsoever, and because money exists. And this is just going to be the only way to stop this. The only way to stop this would be a hell of a lot of restrictions through legislation, and that'll never happen because money.
There's two things I want to say real quick for the conversation. Number one is a lot of people also on Facebook were talking about this, and one of the things they pointed out was this person is a legitimate artist. They do drawing and stuff, but for some reason decided to do all this AI art that they brought to San Diego with them.
It sounds... sorry.
And then the other thing I wanted to say is I'm seeing a lot of people, well, we'll get into the normies in a second, but I see people pushing back that work in the movie industry and stuff, and to some of the points on social media that I just read is AI is here to stay, and everyone bucking it isn't going to make it go away. We need to figure out how to integrate it without hurting the actual creatives.
Needs to be identified.
It does need to be identified. I think it sounds like this guy was willingly being a test subject to see what happened. Right.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a very artist thing to do. See, what will happen if I try to do this? Right. And we don't know. I mean, it's very, I don't like AI either, but I think the backlash against it is just going to push more people toward it. I just got an email today from Adobe saying they've integrated AI into Photoshop. Right. It's cool. I mean, honestly, what can be done with it is really cool as far as finishing things.
There's for what I do to do art for the show, there's an AI tool that'll smart remove the background of a picture. It's a lot easier to use than the old like trace it and try to cut it out. So I don't see an issue with it in that respect. But I saw someone argue about AI art and then was like, look what I just created, and it was a picture of Batman. And it took me a second to do this, and I'm like, okay, so do you think now you can go to a convention and sell that as prints for $20 when you just said, give me a picture of Batman, and it just created a quick composite from, a bunch of pictures on the internet? Like, you don't deserve to make money off of that. Like, that's the main problem there.
At that point, you check the feet and make sure that it didn't use Rob Liefeld as part of the picture.
Struggles with feet and fingers as it is, but I mean, like, I think that's the thing. That's the thing, though. It's the new scam, right? And there's always been art. There's always been con artists selling other people's art as their own and trying to sell it. There's always been, that's photo manipulation, not AI generated art. I realize,
right? Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's part of AI is part of what is going to become the future of things, and people are going to have to learn how to live with it. I don't know what that means because I'm not smart enough to tell you. But once things are out, you can't put them away.
Right. You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
There's a million cliches you can throw on toothpaste in a tube. Like it's all there. But I mean, like, what do you do with it? And there has to be ways that artists can utilize this to make their lives easier. Right. But you have to stop people from being crooks and trying to use it. Because again, it's going to be hard. Right. But
like, here's the thing. I think if you're an artist and you've got a tool that's an AI, it's a complete blank, and you give it 100 images that you've drawn to learn from, and then you give it an idea and it gives you a template to build off of. Like, I don't see an issue with that if you're doing the work to teach it and then be like, okay, like, I have this idea, and then it gives you like a sketch idea to build off of, but doesn't like
the amount of data that an AI that like OpenAI needs to do something like that is like octobytes. Like, just
but
so much
saying,
that no single human being could generate enough in their lifetime for it to be able to learn like that.
I'm just trying to find a case that might be acceptable, whereas like, because that's the thing, a lot of the normies who were commenting on this article or this post were saying, well, how's that any different than the guy who like draws Batman and sells pictures? It's not his IP. And it's like, but the other thing is 9 times out of 10, not all of them, 9 times out of 10, the people in Artist Alley are artists who worked for Marvel and DC and are selling copies of their own work they did for them. And they got permission to sell it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are selling that do commissions and do sell a lot. And there's been times that Marvel and DC have not liked that people are selling their intellectual property. And like, they allow them to, right? They allow artists in Artist Alley to sell IP that they don't own, right?
Well, mostly because they can't possibly,
they
can't, well, not the, all the conventions we've been to, there are so many people selling prints with superheroes from DC and Marvel.
Yeah, okay,
There's
but I mean,
no way
like,
to crack down on every single one of them.
Sure, there
they
are.
will crack down on the bigger ones.
But here's the thing, though: you could stop them from. You could have a lawyer and put an injunction on the convention, right?
Sure.
Like if they wanted to, they could, but they don't because it gives them bad. It would be bad for the industry, right?
Yeah, I mean,
to a certain point, and then if somebody gets too popular with their prints,
the whole thing is
then they come down on them.
That happens.
Okay. Okay, wait, first I like this from Kassan. There are laws that force companies to identify the source country of a product. I can see creative content including into such a legislation. It's not a bad idea to like say, because we do that now with food. You have to say where it came from and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's not a bad idea to say like this was make it a law. AI generated, this person generated, this came from here, this came from there.
Yeah, but that requires a legal framework, which is not going to be created by our current legislators.
It's going to happen eventually. There's going to have to be, because there's enough people upset about it, and when people are upset about things, laws change, and laws are created.
As soon as people start getting sued, and it goes into courts, then we'll have laws.
Right.
It's going to
but
happen.
The only people that are going to sue that would make a kind of difference are like Marvel.
You don't think Marvel and DC aren't going to sue?
They will sue people that are using for their own stuff, but then they're on the other side, they're the ones that want to use AI to get rid of a lot of jobs. So it's going to be a tightrope to see what they come down. It will not, whatever legal challenges that they bring up to our current legislative process are not going to be beneficial for us.
We can say that, but the thing is, these things need to be trained with real talent. Right.
Yes.
So, and they're going to need,
and that talent's fungible.
AI grows. It needs new stuff to be fed into it. So there has to be
and here's the thing too, and that's this is the part that people are so short-sighted. They're looking at, this is what's going on right now. If we got into a world where everything was being generated by AI, then everything will start looking exactly the same after a while, art-wise, because it's only learning from itself, and it's only saying this is popular based on the 4 quadrants that you always like to bring up, John. So eventually everything will look exactly the same, because that's all AI is going to have to learn from. So, and it's going to produce way more art than a regular artist can produce. So it's going to be learning way, way more from AI generated art. And then eventually everything's going to look the same. And then it's going to be like, then the world's going to be craving for real art, and real artists will rise up again. But yeah, like the current path we're on, eventually everything's going to look the same. Everything's going to sound the same. Oh yeah, pop music.
Well, again, we're talking about a bunch of regulation that will need to be passed in order to set up this kind of legal framework. And our current legislators are the same people that were when they had the head of Instagram up. They asked, "Does the Instagram does that access the network?" It's like, these guys that our current legislators are too old. We're gonna have to wait like 2 generations before we get enough people in the legislative process that can understand this enough to put together good legislation.
Here's what's going to happen, John, because legislators don't understand anything they aren't being paid to understand. Lobbyists, you're going to have AI lobbyists on lobby both sides, though. You're going to have both sides of the equation, right? There's going to be pro and anti AI lobbyists. That's how this stuff is going to happen.
But the pro AI lobbyists are going to be the ones with all the money.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. There's a lot of people who don't want this, right? Who are very scared of this AI, and there's going to have to be a balance, because, like Dave said, anyone can see that's going to be the truth. It's going to eventually homogenize everything, which nobody wants, as we've seen this year, right? People get tired of the same things over and over again, and studios they want things to be the same until it doesn't work anymore, right? When something stops working, then they're like, okay, what else is And when nothing, and
when all you have is a guy who's sitting in an AI prompt that says, "No, try producing this," and it spits out the same thing again. No, wait, change this, and it produces the same thing again, because it's just learning from everything else that's out there. Then it's going to be like, we got to hire someone to write something.
The Steven Spielbergs of the world have a greater voice than the David Zaslavs, because they know how to manipulate the public, right? That's what they're going to do. They're going to manipulate the public into doing these things. And the billionaires can get away with things until they can't anymore, right? When people get mad about things. Otherwise, we'd have 6-year-olds working in coal mines still.
Actually, they've been rolling back all.
They're trying.
They just had last month. They had four children die in the red states. They're rolling back all the regulations. So, I'm sorry. I don't have any faith in society today to handle this properly. And AI, it's going to change our culture.
It is. It is. It's going to change in a massive way. But we have massive changes to cultures all the time. There was these arguments when movies became a thing. There was these arguments when television became a thing. The internet was going to change. We learned to deal with these things because there are pro and negative people that discuss these things, and there have been laws, right? We do create laws and social mores too that arise. Like the world changes, society changes, and like this is just the next one, right? What happens in a year or two with this, I don't know, but we're on the front line of it, so it's fascinating, really.
Yeah, we're right at the cusp where everything's going to hit. But to get back a little bit to the AI generated art at cons, like again, someone was arguing, well, what's the difference between paying the guy who generates an AI image of Batman and someone who, what?
That guy's an idiot.
Right, and draws it, and it's like, because like to do a detailed picture, it can take you hours and like sometimes it could take 20, 40 hours to do one really good picture. Like, and then other people are saying, I've generated this in a second. Okay, well, you can have that and be happy, but don't try to sell that to someone because someone else can do the same thing. Like, but to get something specific that you want, like an artist needs to create something. So yeah, but people don't understand that. But the weird thing about
the thing is though, at the rate of acceleration of technology, unless there's another Carrington event, we are like right now AI is the worst it's ever going to be, and it's only going to get better. It will get better until somebody like you or somebody like our non-technologically astute family will be able to go on to ChatGPT and say, hey, create this for me, and it'll be able to create it without having to know how the AI works and formulate your input properly, to get the image that you want.
But is it going to be good? But here's the thing: is it going to be good?
Well, that's the thing. Like like I said, AI is the worst it's ever going to be right now. It's only going to get better at doing that. So it will eventually be good enough. There's always a good enough.
Yeah, but I mean, like, are people going to? I mean, and there are people that want good enough. But is that really what? I mean, like, I have a hard time believing that the masses will just go with these AI generated stuff because it's not heart and emotion drives art, right? And you can't generate that from a computer, and you never will be able to, right? Like you can say, like you can't create, like there's people that have tried to create books, but they want like with AI, but right now they wind up having to rewrite stuff, right? Being that which then you're just creating stuff anyway. I have a hard time seeing real art being created. Generating is not creating. Right. And will there be a market for that? Sure. I mean, like there's a bunch of people that like McDonald's cheeseburgers, but there's still money out there for people that make stuff good.
Right. Well, just remember, like we keep using the term AI. This isn't true AI. This is just
it's a language model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like so the thing is that like it will get good enough at the rate technology is going. It will get good enough.
It's
good enough to fake
what? It. It's a learning algorithm
to fake whatever image that you're looking for. Really.
Images are one thing, but we're hard on artists. We're hard on real artists that do things. You don't think people are going to be like, that's computer bullshit after a while? Like this is flavor of the month stuff. Like people are hard on real life, right?
Yeah,
they're going to be hard on AI too, and there will be a backside of it. Like. I know the big worry is AI is going to replace everything, but AI right now sucks because guess what? Most people suck at creating things. So, I mean, like, I have a hard time seeing AI replacing artists.
Because it shouldn't.
It won't.
It in some cases, it might. You give it 20 years and it might. But it shouldn't. That's the problem, right? And there will be something missing. There will be something missing, and we already treat our artists horribly without even the concept of AI coming into it. And now that that's coming in, like I don't know where the industry goes from here. Like the real creators, you know.
Well,
and that's another thing that's on the table with the writers.
Focus on creating. Computers can't create. Computers are tools.
All right, yes,
tools.
I agree. And you're coming at this from a creator, right?
Right.
The problem is big business and money, you know.
Big business and money.
I'm saying that's wrong.
What are we seeing this year? Right. This wants to make things possible because that's how you make the money. Nothing is making right now this way.
True.
Right. So that things are bottom dollar folk that movies and TV shows are widgets. And it's not working. The audiences are rejecting that. Audiences reject inauthenticity. AI currently and always will be the definition of inauthenticity. And I just have a hard time seeing real art being replaced by AI. Now, artists will learn to utilize AI to make their jobs easier the same way they always have with any tool, right? Like the guy who figures out how to utilize AI to help him do his job better is going to be the guy who succeeds and teaches everybody else how to do things differently. It's going to be like when Photoshop became a thing. It has to just be another tool. It cannot be what replaces creativity because it doesn't work. The bean counters want to tell you that it will work because they are driven to make sure creative forces have no influence. They want to tell you that creative people can be replaced by AI. They want the AI to be the boogeyman keeping them up at night, and it's working in a lot of cases. But in reality, you want a bunch of AI generated stuff, it's just going to be a bunch of AI generated stuff and it's going to suck. Now, some people say, well, we make stuff that sucks anyway. Fine. Someone will come along and say, hey, you know what? That's good. Well, how did you do that? Oh, I wrote it. Or, oh, I painted it. They're going to go, oh, and now you have, now things come back.
There is something else too that the AI image generators aren't good at yet. Oh,
I agree, Kassan.
There's something else that they're not great at yet. Like you say, draw me a picture of Batman, and it'll produce a picture of Batman. And then you say again, draw me a picture of Batman. It will look slightly different than the first picture of the Batman they drew. So it's difficult to have it to consistently draw the same Batman, but in different poses. So that's one of the reasons, like, it's hard.
They have gotten to the point where they can do that with the right prompts. There are entire Instagram channels now with fake models where they have the same model in different positions, you know, in a bikini and everything, completely fake, not a real person at all. And
that's who needs to watch themselves is the modeling industry.
Oh yeah, no, seriously.
They're going to, and that's going to take over there before it takes over like comics, cartoons, animation, writing, you know, it's going to hit there. That's where it's going to be a problem.
And the other place that it's hitting right now, if you look at any local newspapers that are owned by Gannett or like almost any property that's owned by Gannett, there are a lot of articles that you're reading that were generated by AI. That's scary.
That's the problem with a lot of modern journalism too. But a lot of them are making mistakes on things. It's like because journalism has become like literal journalism writing, there is no in-depth analysis of things anymore because people don't want it. They want quick, digestible stuff that they can just read, boom, 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 boom. And that has been coming for a long time. That has been the McDonaldization and the death of the American newspaper system, is people don't want in-depth reporting from sources anymore. Right now. But I mean, on the other side of the coin, you read like the Atlantic, and that's where you're getting all that good stuff again.
Well, it's a combination of our internet age, was it length of concentration or whatever, our attention span, and the downward pressure from the internet, where you don't get your newspaper delivered anymore. You can open up a window and go to HuffPost, Washington Post, whatever. But and the investment groups, which are killing everything, not just the news organizations.
But it goes down to the problem is, and we're part of the problem. Are blog sites who post stuff that gets circulated that then become considered news. But the other thing is, like, it's proven like it's all before it even became AI. It was all algorithm driven because it was like what's getting hits because we just want eyeballs on our page so we can make advertising dollars. So some news gets ignored because it doesn't get hits. Other news gets prompted up. Everyone writes about it. Everyone has the same takes. So it gets to the point where it's like, well, why can't AI just generate this? You know?
Well, and part of me is like kind of agree with it because like I've done some of these like aggregate news generation stuff and it sucks and it's boring and it's like you're not getting anything. Like, and this is like people just want to aggregate, but again, it has to come from a source, right? Like AI has to come from somewhere, right? So it's going to be, it's like you're going to need people to do the real work, and then you're going to have like, because these aggregators, they might as well just be AI because they're not doing anything. Like there's no creativeness involved in that, creativity, I should say, involved in it. There's not like a guy who just regurgitates news into a 2-paragraph bite. What are you doing? Like, I'm sorry, that is someone's job, and that's very cold of me to do, but you're not providing any analysis. You're not really providing any real breakdown that's your own. You're just walking a fine line of not plagiarizing.
Yep.
And like part of me is kind of like, well, maybe you could be replaced by an AI.
Yeah, that's what a lot of sites do. They just take where it was the original source and summarize it and put it on as their own to their site to get clicks.
Yeah, aggregation is one of the worst things that's ever happened to news media.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there were huge. I think there was a huge lawsuit in was it Australia about that? That because of Google News, they were saying Google, Facebook, all those you know they have to start paying the original sources when they aggregate news.
Well, they should. And
they should. And of course,
that's going to happen.
And you have Murdoch who fought that, you know, and all the other companies that fought that. Again, coming down to money. But it's a dark place that we're going to, because again, it's all about money. It's always
been about money. I mean, this is stuff we're fighting stuff that Hearst was talking about 100 years ago and trying to do. Like, I know saying it's going to a dark place is going to a dark place. This is a fucking dark place we live in. The world sucks. The real world is fucking awful.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no, but I mean, it's like, but that's not. I hate this. We live in the worst timeline. Everything. That's just reality, man. Reality fucking sucks. And if you're not fighting every day to make yourself and your family a little bit better, well, then just roll over and fucking give up because you have no purpose in the world anyway. Like, I hate the fatalism of it. Like, you're like, man, the billionaires are just going to kill all of us. Well, yeah, they've been trying to do it since the fucking Industrial Revolution, man. Where you been?
Can we take some of that and make a cut of it for some of our promos, please? That was perfect. That was absolutely fucking perfect.
I wasn't even trying.
Cool. No, but you're absolutely right.
Was
like
perfect.
No.
I know.
I had 2 weeks to rest my brain.
and have it in the promo because we need to bring this to attention anyway all the time.
You have 100% right in the sense of people sit there and go, "Oh my God, things are so much worse today." But no, it's always been this way.
Like this. Right, but here's the difference. Here's the difference, though. Today, it is much easier to pull shenanigans than it was in the old days.
People didn't know anything. People had no knowledge. Like in the Middle Ages, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't even know who the king was. It's just some dude. You didn't even know what they looked like. You could barely read.
Right, but you had to create something literally, physically.
No, you just had to do it. You just had to say it. That's how it is now.
Oh yeah, no. Saying whatever. But like, if you're talking about art or something, like it's much easier in the past. If somebody wanted to copy somebody's art, they had to draw it themselves or trace it or whatever. Nowadays,
steal it.
But it took time. It took physical time. Now,
you know what?
It takes almost nothing.
Thievery always gets easier. Right, thievery is always easy. It's always easy to just take something that isn't yours and say, "This is mine now." Like it's just they just get better ways to do it. So you got to get better ways to fight back. That's all it is. It's a constant struggle of holding on to what's yours and fighting for what you believe in and fighting for your fair share. That's why I'm all about what's going on right now. I would be totally fine if everyone struck and was just like, "Nope, we got to change things." But I mean, most people won't. My contract just got renewed, and I was like, "Well, I want to." Oh, okay. I was like, "This is pretty good, actually." I'm pretty happy with this.
Here's the problem: most people are just dumb sheeple.
I hate that phrase, but I don't think you're wrong.
We all have one of these in our pocket, right? And this gives us connection 24/7 to the sum total of man's knowledge. But most people are watching cat videos and raccoon videos on it.
Or Joe
End of
Rogan.
story.
I don't know which was worse.
But it's always been like that, right? We've always had the digital revolution. I remember being a digital filmmaker in the early 2000s. They said the digital revolution is going to open up the door for so many more people to have a voice. The problem is most of them are going to suck. And that's happened. That's YouTube, right? There's millions upon millions of videos at Superhero Speak too, yeah. And there's millions upon millions of videos floating out here. Most of them are terrible, right? We find it's so hard to fight for oxygen, right? It's I can see some kind of watermark that will screw with AI scraping. So
that is viable.
That's a good call.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I like that. I like the way you think, Hassan.
What is?
We should copyright that. Copyright that idea. Superhero Speak 2023. Watermark your stuff to protect it. I think if you're going to put anything out, you should watermark it anyway. But
there's a term for that. But yeah, you could really mess.
But
that'll happen. Actually, you're absolutely right. Sorry.
The thing is too, like, you're right. Things come out, technology comes out, and it's like, this is going to completely replace this. It's just going to go away forever. And
some things do go away forever. Like, ain't nobody making buggy whips.
But here's the thing. Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing. The internet came out, and it was going to be the great equalizer because there were no more gatekeepers, and everyone was going to be equal. And guess what? There are fucking gatekeepers on the internet now. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
so some of them host the show.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching videos where YouTube creators are complaining about, like, YouTube's got new rules and they're making it harder for people to make money, and now they want to try to, like, they're forcing, like, I get the messages too. They want us to, like, pay them for ads and so that people can see our videos, and it's like, oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention earlier in the show is we now hit 3,000 subscribers.
Oh wow, hey!
But here's the problem: those 3,000 people don't automatically see our videos when they go out, which they should.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as this video is posted, they should all get a notification. But like, YouTube does crazy like shenanigans with that stuff. Because they want you to pay them for advertising to guarantee that you can get eyes on your videos.
Because they want money.
Yes, but if they just let us monetize and then showed our 3,000 subscribers our videos, they'd make money. So.
Not as much as they could make if they just took it right from us. The Roman Empire, had this. The reason the Roman Empire was so successful is because before then, these vast empires would move into these new territories and they would try to strip away the culture of the indigenous people. And so you're one of us now. You worship our gods now. Rome didn't do that. Rome took someone over and goes, do what you want. We just want to get paid.
Right.
Worship who you want to worship. You can even have your own local government keeping things exactly the way they were. But at the end of the day, you render unto Caesar. Right? And it's been the same ever since. Ever since. You can do what you want, say what you want, but at the end of the day, you render unto Caesar.
Well, yeah, we render a lot onto Caesar.
Investment groups are the old way. And they've been taking over everything. By the way,
investment groups, look at how much we pay in taxes. It's ridiculous. We render onto Caesar. Do what you want.
That's everything.
The U.S. has probably the lowest tax.
It does.
Yes.
Then compared to Europe, it's very cheap. Way less taxes here.
You want to know where all our money's going? Ask them why we're still giving billions of dollars to oil companies when they already make billions in revenue per quarter, and why they can't tell where 60% of the the defense budget goes. They do audits every year and they can't find 60% of it. Yeah, I know. Right? No. It's there are reasons why we have. But anyway, steganography is the thing.
On my wrestling show,
information in image, and that's probably the first line of defense for this.
On my wrestling show, my co-host works for the Air Force. He's a bigwig in the Air Force, and I've almost got him to admit that the government will admit that they have contacted aliens and have gotten technology from them. Almost got him to admit it. It's a thing. It's going to happen. It's true.
I highly doubt that. Nobody'd be interested in us. The human race is so infantile right now. We're not even amoebas.
But they can.
But how do
rule.
you know?
Yeah, how do you know? Maybe they play. Maybe where they come from is worse than here. It's like Gary. People come to from Gary, Indiana all the time. Like, wow, this is so much better here. I will always bury the great state of Indiana, given any chance.
All right, I think we've beaten
the great filters, but okay.
I think we've beaten this topic enough.
Yeah, let's go.
Wait,
to bed.
Alien War.
Alien War.
Let's go.
It comes back to V.
Yeah. Always V or feet, one or the other. All right.
Get me Will Smith on the phone.
He's not busy right now.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this one up.
Your slapping power is enough to kill an alien.
He'd slap the shit out of Chris Rock, man. Like, that's going to live on for decades. People are like, remember the time that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars and everybody was like, holy shit, that was real?
Let's see an AI come up with that.
Yeah, you can't AI that.
No.
All right. Let's wrap this one up. You guys have any recommendations or what did you learn on the show this week? And John, you can go first.
I learned that you should listen to JD more.
God, I missed you guys. My ego is feeling great tonight.
And as far as my recommendations are concerned, go take a look. Go to YouTube and check out the trailer for One Piece. If you're not interested in anime, don't. But otherwise, do. That's all I got for today.
Conversational narcissist.
Nice.
All right, JD.
I don't have anything to recommend because I just spent the last 2 weeks coaching. So my consumption of media is like super down. I'm gonna go watch some TV and read some books over the next week because I'm by myself, which is nice. School's not. I went to my office at school. Everything's torn up. They're cleaning right now. Like they're waxing floors. So I'm like, oh, I can't do nothing here. So I'm gonna watch some TV. But as of right now, I got nothing. I learned the AI situation is probably more complicated than we see it as, but I think that treating it like this boogeyman gives it more power than it probably deserves.
Yeah.
When it should probably just be addressed like any problem that, we as a society have come across. And we need to, if we don't tame it, it takes control, right? So we got to figure out how to temper it and make it work for us because we've all seen The Matrix. And I don't look good in tight leather.
All right.
Nice.
I learned that when JD is off for a week and then comes home to an empty house, he's on fire.
I was good this week, man.
He is on fire.
Yeah.
Episode title.
JD on fire?
Yeah, like the girl on fire from Hunger Games. Yeah. Drew just said, what? I don't even know what that's for, but I appreciate it.
Recommendations. I'm going to recommend that you check out Damage Inc. by our good friend
James Burton.
Because
my comics launch, bro.
We might have an announcement about that comic coming up. Because John created a monster. That's all I'm saying.
And I didn't even use ChatGPT to do it.
I can't wait for the horror movies that are going to come out because, there's a ton of low-budget indie filmmakers have all these like AI horror movies in mind, like about killer algorithms and stuff like that. The next 2 years are going to be great.
Lawnmower Man.
That was not great. Did you know that Stephen King made more money off The Lawnmower Man than any other property he ever did because of his lawsuit with them?
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Twice. He sued them twice because they said Stephen King's Lawnmower Man. He's like, I didn't write this. So he sued them, got a lot of money. And then they did the video. He did it again. And he sued them again and won a ton of money.
Nice.
There you go. I also recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews by our good friend Kristen, and so much more. If you're watching this right now and you have not hit that subscribe button yet, click it now. Hit that bell for notifications. You know, if you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment, leave a like. We really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm tell more people that we're here. And yeah, that I think about does it for this week. Oh wait, yeah, we're gonna do it. I also recommend, if you haven't read The Last Ronin before, go pick that up digitally or physically, however you consume your comics, because we will be talking about that next week here on the podcast.
Can we get Don back on the show? We haven't had Don on the show in a while. I want to hear his voice.
That'd be fine.
As just like having a comic guy back, right? Don,
Okay.
if you're listening, I know you're listening. Come back. We love you. We miss you. You know, Kassan's got a good point here. He says, I'm not sure if you guys do YouTube shorts, but that do generate more audience. But that's true, actually.
We put a short out every week. It's just an ad for the show, but yeah. All right. So on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape be caught in the door. Have a good